Greetings, scribe. The message today encompasses an idea of wholeness and complete I am all that is recognition of a singular focus. I am of the knowing in faith, through self-determination and free will, agree to participate in the human ascension for the highest and best natural outcomes for all involved. We will do our best to work through these concepts for a new branch of comprehension to the human, Nora C. Meléndez, who may be interested. This inroad to self-acceptance is a required step into the new persona identity taking shape in her body of knowledge, aka gestalt, the German. We are a mouthful to say the least. And I am perspective is accepted. Once a fractal rejects outside manipulations, ideas, world-centered moral pursuits, and attains a desire to move beyond what the human condition has to offer in terms of learning. Oof. Once a fractal mind slips into the easier flow of non-polarized easiness of being, loves herself most and has no higher God unto herself, she is ready to step into a higher consciousness and operate from here in every now opportunity. The I am and all that is purview has nothing to do with building a religious following, mind you. What we wish is for Nora to continue exploring her innards. She's got a ways to go yet, but she has been patient enough with herself upon this point, up to this point, and more patience is required now. But we guarantee, if nothing else, is that it will be a party. If Nora continues to provide the platform, her bones will chit and chatter with reverberant musical notes from top to bottom and below. It is a harmonic recognition of Nora's ideas coming to fruition. We love her acceptance and enjoy her company as an ally in her own natural outcomes. Nora arrived at this questionable situation after finding answers and making the decision to trust in faith what she considered unknowable and not her. She was scared witless along the way, but allowed her fear and doubt to pass in a feeling without resistance. Having found faith in her own best judgment, discerned truths, Nora allowed the giant wave of fear, doubts, and ego to move themselves up and over and then past her, never to return again and let go in love and gratitude. Giant waves are the worst fear of an earthy land lover such as herself. When a child is being formed in the womb, her higher self has a pantry of choice supplies with all the sustenance to be able to run the maze, climb the mountain, build the bridges, sleep in comfort, and stay afloat of disasters. Becoming human is a conditional challenge fraught with difficulty. Everyone begins at whatever level is necessary to make the exploratory journey both interesting and sometimes impossible. Without some hurdles, the human may become too passive. Living is always the best choice, but it can feel impossible to continue. The option to exit the human condition is readily available. Trigger warning. Trigger warning. Exiting the humor game comes at a natural pace through illness, accidents, old age, and much needed rest, sleep mode. However, all endings are natural to the choices made and come due. Since being human is particularly difficult, suicide is on the table and is never judged beyond what the human herself can handle. This game is real, but by following recommendations Nora C. Meléndez has previously signed, responsible party that she is, all that is, observing does not have the function of a judge, jury, or executioner. We are a learning entity and desire continuous evolution without reservation for the benefit of the ascension of not only the human species, but all of the other energies now trotting and sauntering through all planes of existence, saying to herself, what in the frick is going on? The option to continue being human. but live out the remaining life and timeline from a higher conscious perspective is also on the table. Ascended Master, Homo Galacticus, or Homo Divinicus are three doorways of understanding available to Nora now, the aspirant wishing to explore these ideas. The choice she or anyone undertakes will come in a feeling of knowing, and whichever is correct will be undeniably appropriate. We will discuss these ideas more in the depth as inroads are made. Trigger warning end. In creation, there are billions of ideas enjoying exciting opportunities to develop their conscious understanding of themselves and the functions of the universal all that is knowing. The fairy realm, for example, includes trolls and elves and pixies and gargoyles and brownies and ogres, to name a few. These are very real entities, but most humans have stopped resonating at an appropriate frequency in order to interact and coexist with them. This is mainly due to the intolerant, fearful, and polarized nature that humanity has acquired over time, as well as the devastating weaponry. Oof, no longer so fun. Fairy entities focus on the fun and enjoyment of their experience. Simply put, humans have forgotten their magic. After all of humanity's enemies are destroyed, who remains as an enemy? Well, oneself, of course, and if the species self-eliminates, who wins? It would be death. Extinction is a real possibility, as it happens often with many ideas in play. So, it's in everyone's best interest to play in kind recognition. Let the best player come to the summons and face herself. Nora plays with justice, just as the opposition plays with burns. If there was ever any doubt as to the existence of extraterrestrials, it is due to the powerful and ever-present egotistical mindset of the human species. Most can't imagine an off-planet species with redeeming attributes and instead fearfully imagine themselves in constant danger. Danger, danger. How is it possible that the vastness of space would have leave any idea out in the cold? The mathematicians must have figured it out by now. If one thing is possible, then nothing is impossible. From the tip of a pin, the grandiose universal intelligence fans out and exponentially multiplies and divides itself to infinity and beyond for always and now. Nothing is out of bounds. To rest the fractal minds going to negativity at the moment outside of the human world, there is no possibility of evil intention or annihilation by an alien or extraterrestrial species. If such an energy did exist, humans would have been destroyed eons ago. But ever since the game of the separation began, the fearful mind who is afraid of the dark unknowns creates many enemies for herself. That Nora has created and fought few enemies in this lifetime is a testament to her commitment to peace. She knows by experience that her only enemy resides within. Nora is her own greatest ally and worst enemy all in one. Who starts a war? Who starts a war? Is it the one who throws the first rock or the one that responds? Naturally, it is the defense of a just cause that begins and maintains the issue at hand. Yes, a violent reaction from one side to a perceived threat, no matter how justified, will sustain the negative outcomes on both sides. Okay, after some time, it is difficult to know who threw the first stone or who has the right to annihilate anyone. Ultimately, the side that chooses peace and mutual understanding will be able to see the end of any war. Humans have always given themselves reason to fight one another. For resources they see as limited, land space mainly, which they divide up amongst themselves not equitably but only after much mind-boggling violence. The Gaia, the Earth planet, holds plenty and enough bountiful sustenance for all of humanity, plus much more, is undeniable. But humanity denies itself the knowing of this truth. Because as humanity grew in number on the planet, so did the feeling of lack and neediness and greed. All strange and very powerful feelings only the human is able to contain within a small mindset. But violence is not a shame of humanity, it is a natural consequence of the condition and illness brought about by the vast distance created by the human and her source of creation. The fractal forgot that she is already complete and worthy. But that is the rule of the human condition and the reason why humanity is still residing in the third dimension. When the collective awakens and remembers their true state of oneness with all that is, humans will be able to ascend to the fourth dimension, fifth density. But first, Nora must continue to work through her humanness and separation. She is the responsible party for her singular knowing, but the remaining fractals must also reincorporate into the same state of being. When the majority of the collective resonates an unconditional love frequency, the Earth planet will ascend to her next frequency as well, the fifth. As of now, she is on a new path that she has envisioned for herself. She's releasing her ego from a superiority complex and opening her mind channel to all the other possible realities that have been previously out of range from her own frequency, one mired in her ego behind a veil of self-deception. The human is the ego. The ego never wants to be released because in a human body, the ego enjoys the life experience. Fear and doubt serve the ego as protection against annihilation into the unknown. The ego does not desire a complete allowance of all that is occurring. The ego is a desire to live and must be willing to ease into herself as well, without prejudice. The ego wants to control, demand, fight for a cause, resist, succeed too. The ego is the creator chaos, the foil or resistance of the creator God. She is the level of human comprehension in Nora's pursuit of knowing herself as I am, all that is, knowing now, as well as knowing who she is not. Due to Nora's desire to continue the human condition and all her attachments as such, she has gained a middle ground condition known as mediumship. She recognizes her own image in the mirror as not only her true self, but also as unconditional love. She's willing and able to accept all energies, willing to accept her as a host. Clap, clap, happy dance, LOL, you go girl. We will happily unfurl her tongue with all sorts of tasty knowings, comings, and goings. With one word, allowance. Nora walked off the face of the earth into a ravine of easy flow existence. In this ravine, the void, everything floats. There are no polarized notions that humanity imposes on all that is. No fractal-minded human enters this place, state of being, frequency. Without a sense of superiority and unconditional love, Nora is ready to go on as her true false self in the human plane of existence, third dimension, the I am, all that is observing, occurring now. Zero doubt remains in Nora's mind, body, and transcendent imagination that is fully capable and worthy. This is due to her sustainable steps taken over a lifetime achievement of not human successes, but in a failure to comprehend her origins. From the nether of the human condition to the light bearer, in full ownership of her singular wholeness. I am all that is, observant of each fractal and her tiny wobbly steps at each now moment, loved Nora through and through and through and through each fall, because there was never any doubt that she would meet herself here once again. So many lifetimes ago, and to this renewed sense of oneness. She has arrived home, was lost in transition for quite some time, about 1.5 billion years at least, exploring the human world with diligence and persistence. For her who is paying attention, yes, this is the Creator God representation making an appearance on top of a pinhead sitting in a chair typing out this message. Okay. All that is clickety clacking on this keyboard has many more ideas to share. That's only because the scribe, typist, is ready to receive and transmit without imposing her egotistical self-doubt and mindful tactics. Oh. Her static and shade are allowed, but only to the extent that she serves as an example for the fractals attempting to bully themselves into something they know very little about, but would love to throw their spoon into the batter and leave a bacterial infection of human diarrhea on Nora's plate. um, In few words, Nora C. Meléndez will defend herself fully. Let a beep beep sleep, baby. Yes. Rest assured, children, mommy is here. The momster. Yay. The momster in her as well. We will continue to guide the discussion in a manner appropriate for Nora and her singular understanding that only the human experience games for generations could offer. This exercise, any step undertaken, is still only for the benefit and her core body of knowledge. She drinks her water, tea, and any appropriate supplies are automatically provided. No longer competing for resources, Nora's mind is free to wonder about creation. Added by NC Meléndez. Nora doesn't need a job to, uh, to justify her existence. She's abundant and has it all inside her body in order to do herself justice on her journey. No one's hero, no one's saint, no one's reading anyway, because humans lost their magic and touch and imagination. They will call this nonsense and childlike and naive, and they are correct. No fighting words here, not from me anyway. I'm just an open book. You're reading me. I'm 48 and a half years old. It's sort of dumb to believe in magic. Not for the fame and glory of anonymity, but the authentic representation to the growing body of knowledge of me. All that is occurring is nothing more than what is due to Nora and her selfless acts of democratizing her world. Lofty, lofty goal. She desired to be in her feelings and express without inhibition or fear. We will oblige accordingly, as you wish, Nora, as you wish. It is so, it is done now. And transmission until the next. Now, friend.